They're counterpicking very hard right now, certainly. Add AA is just 100% an answer to what's already on the table, and Crazy immediately says, okay, we are playing Terrorblade. And Terrorblade still has a very decent matchup against the Spectre in the late game, just because as long as she can't cross the distance, that TB is completely safe to keep wailing on her with the Metamorphosis. Different case, of course, if he doesn't have the meta. Also a different case if the Spectre builds an Abyssal Blade, which we've seen a lot more recently, as this, let's say, 5 to 6 pickup on the hero, just to make sure that she can actually take the man fight to these carries that would normally rather avoid her.
All right. See, I'm just with the Ancient Apparition pickup, I'm thinking that this Nature's Prophet is most likely going mid. I'm thinking that's a faker prophet.
It would give them an extremely strong global lineup. This is, if this Tiny finds anyone, whether he's a support or ends up as an offlaner, if he finds anyone, the amount of damage that can come in without any heroes actually coming in is pretty ridiculous. So, as long as they get their coordination down for that, which is hard, especially with the AA blast, for pickoffs, hard to hit. If you do full, let's say, 4-on-4 clashes, it's a lot easier, but they don't have the biggest lockdowns to keep people in the area on the side of Infamous. So the potential is big, but there's a barrier for the execution.
I just feel like I understand why you're picking up the Ancient Apparition. It goes along with this sort of global strat, like you talked about, the fact that you've got a Necrophos, you've got an Enchantress, both of them have healing. I just feel like you could have picked a different support that also could pick up something like a Spirit Vessel or something to also
Mm-hmm.
help negate that. And of course, with the rework of Scotty too. I'm not sold on the Ancient Apparition. I'm hoping that this wasn't, well, they have 2 heals, so let's pick up, an Ancient, like, again, I worry about Infamous sometimes that they're not playing their
Yeah.
own Dota and they're getting baited into playing Crazy's draft that they want, so to speak.
Yep, I completely share that concern. It's it makes it easier to execute for the player in particular, like, hey, I'm an ancient apparition, I'm gonna stop these two fools from healing. But on a team level, it becomes way more muddled if you don't have all your positions figured out, like, alright, this is the guy who goes in, this is the guy who sits behind, I
Right.
can make my rotations here and here. Some teams, for example, like to have a position 5 who can immediately take a lane after the core goes into the jungle and push it out properly. If that's something that you like playing with, then if you pick an AA, you don't have that. Of course, I don't think that Infamous even has that structure in place, so they can't quite miss it. But those are things that you could use to bring more consistency into your lineups, and that's certainly something that they seem to have no interest in doing.
I am also a little concerned the fact that they don't have the greatest burst damage to deal with this Terrorblade, right? You've got a lot of different ways that, you can keep them alive. You've got the sprites, you've got, the death pulse coming off from the Necrophos. Yes, you have an Ancient Apparition, but after that snowball gets launched, if it doesn't land, you have no way to negate that healing, and your burst is really just the Avatos coming out from Tiny. So it's more than likely that this Terrorblade's able to get the Sunder off, and he's gonna stay there
Mhm.
for quite a while and have these elongated fights. So I'm a little worried about that too. Lockdown's very light coming out from the side of Infamous. They go for the. Oh, that's funny. I'm not sure. I think that's probably. Is that Kazu or Brile? Is my question. I guess is the first thing.
I would say Braille just because I know that Keizu is, or at least, let's say that I enjoy Keizu the most on these very stable, stick to one lane. If you leave me here, I'm just gonna push it all the way into your tower until you do something about me kind of heroes.
Right.
I enjoy him if he's like this tanky center of the team fight that doesn't have to outplay as much as just be in the right positions on the map, because I think that that's what he's really good at.
I think also with his ping disadvantage too, it's probably
That
a little
helps,
bit
yeah.
nicer for him as well, because he is playing from Europe. But yeah, okay. So it's I was laughing because I saw the Pangolier and I remember they were chatting a little bit about it in the lobby chat about
They
Bryle's
were.
Pango. But now they have to figure out what is the hero, what's the pickup, what's the. I think they still need an offlane unless they decide to put Pete on the Nature's Prophet. But I don't think you want to do that. I think that is going to be a faker prophet. So what's the Pepita hero? You
Hmm.
could go for something, and it seems that they think this too because the axe got banned. Yeah, so it's definitely a faker mid with Nature's Prophet, and the Underlord's going to get picked up for Pepita. Uh, It's a good pickup, I suppose, right? Because like when Terrorblade doesn't have that meta, it's going to be very difficult for him in lane to get those last hits, and it does give you more of that mobility. They're going for very
See you later,
global,
nerds.
mobile kind of draft, but I'm just concerned that it's not enough lockdown, and that it's not a splashy enough kind of team fight that we see out of Infamous. When they have done well, it's been because Pepita's on a playmaker, and Underlord's great, but he's not really that playmaker.
He's a lot of things, but Playmaker, yeah, is definitely not on the list. I mean, it's a great just cookie cutter counter to any sort of illusion hero, because the illusions have no way to get out of that pit plus the firestorm combination. They take so much damage. And of course Terrorblade is not going to enjoy laning into this at all. The huge amount of magic damage, as well as the fact that you can't actually get the Underlord out of lane unless you have your meta up, is a problem, because Underlord is, well, same as the Necrophos actually, he's just going to sit there. So I think out of all the picks that they could have made, this is probably the best one, and I enjoy it quite a bit. I just think that they were too far along in their draft to get a really cohesive picture together, and I think we share that feeling here.
I think Faker's Nature's Prophet got picked up a little too early. I can understand that they want to pick it up for him. It's very comfortable. He does a great job with it. But I think also if they had waited, they might have been able to go and pick up something like a Zeus, which could have been very, very good against, the Terrorblade and also the Necrophos. You've got options there.
Yep.
But, that's sometimes that's how the draft goes, right? Especially when you're drafting up against Aoi. He definitely has a very clear picture of what he wants generally. Also, I think we paused for a minute, but what was it? I was watching one of the games earlier, actually. I think it was T-Panda casting for EU, and he was saying, what was it? It was like a big team fight, and the egg went off, and Underlord grabbed everybody in, and the Phoenix also got dragged along, even though the egg managed to pop. It was like a really strange sort of interaction I'd never seen before.
So, wait, did the corpse of Phoenix get...
No, the whole body got transferred along. I'm not exactly sure. One of my guys posted it in my Discord, so it's a pretty good feature.
Interesting, so he
Never
can
seen
get
it happen.
transported in egg form.
But the egg remained, so the body left, but the egg remained.
Huh. Well, still in beta.
It's a feature, Kips.
It always is.
It's a
Especially
feature.
if OG discovers it.
Right, exactly.
Vita.
I remember back in the day when Loda was the one who'd always find all the bugs in the middle of professional matches.
Oh, yeah. That was a great running gag for everyone except Loda.
Except for Loda, right?
Poor guy. I mean, he's always had a bit of a chip on his shoulder, hasn't he? But that's also why you get good. It's because you refuse to take the nose that other people give you.
That's true.
I really love that we have such a rich and storied history with this game already.
See you later,
It's a little bit of skirmishing back and forth. Looks like they'll be able to definitely get the top 2 runes, and the rest of Crazy, I guess, have decided to back off. They know they'll be getting the runes top, so HFN feels like he's considering it, but Excel picks it up. It's another rune over there. So an even split.
Neatly done. With a little sidestep from Pakas as well to dodge a Moon Meander roll. So no harm done on the top lane yet either. Spectre AA. You have a ton of slow in this lane, but the Necrophos is going to be hard to bully out with just an AA alone, and they definitely have kill potential on the side of Crazy over on this poor little ancient apparition. He is a very fragile popsicle, and he doesn't really have any way to defend himself.
I like that phrase, a fragile popsicle. We hear a lot about the fragile little snowflakes, but I think I want to go with this one from now on. Again, Moon Meander, though, just being very, very aggressive early, gets the roll, gets some damage down onto Kaz. This is another one of those players that is just going to be hyper aggressive, especially if they know that they have the advantage in a lane, which they definitely do against an Ancient Apparition and a Spectre this early. Another roll in. Pakaz is just going to get rolled at non-stop, I have a feeling. As long as Moon has mana, that's how this lane's going to go.
And he can't really be punished all that much because, well, as I said, Ancient Apparition, it's going to get worse once the Cold Feet is up, because then there's actually a possibility of walking it. Oh,
Yeah, they just chased him down. They had the Metamorphosis, they had the Enchant from the Enchantress, and they
Lost
realized
in
that
the
Underlord
woods?
is very weak level 1, so taking advantage of that. Very smart.
absolutely. Ideally, you kill him once or twice before his level 3, which is where he really starts to become a nuisance.
I think he's gonna be okay. This Popsicle turns back
Snuff him.
around. We'll throw out the slow. No, oh, it's got the Fairy Fire though. Excel will get taken down by Moon Meander, and Casey's gonna be just fine. He's got that Death Pulse. He'll heal back up again, and he also gets a salve used on him.
Ah, the core life.
Just have people
Very-
feed you salves constantly.
I mean, I've been really enjoying my recent switch to carry. Can't complain.
They might be
I do
able to
think that-
fully HFN here. They don't have the Enchantress to toss up. Yep, and just like that, they would realize that there's no Enchantress to babysit him. She went off to go grab herself a creep, so they'll make the play on HFN and make him pay for it.
That is really very nice for Pepita. He's going to get that bracer up very soon. And he's going to add that much more to his already sizable bulk.
The harass coming out from Owie is just real, though. Got the tomato, here comes the claps, and of course, you know, the impetus. Does not feel good. Some pings coming out over to the mid lane as Faker's sitting very, very low. The roll forward coming out from Moon Meander. But he's just a little bit too far behind here. Throwing out the stone will slow him down. They're going for the dive here, Kips. This is not looking good. Faker trying to stay alive. He does have the
He
Fairy
can still
Fire.
block
He'll go
himself.
for it. Michael, though, trying to punish them. Toss back underneath the tower. Bryle, you just went a little bit too far, my friend. Oh, Moon Meander, though, canceling out the TP over on Faker.
I think he's going to pay for it.
Oh, I think this is not looking good for Faker. I think Faker might be dead.
Surprising.
Michael still trying to catch up here. Does have the boots, so he'll be able to make Moon Meander pay for it, but both of the cores going down the mid lane.
Well, at the very least, that should get Michael his complete tranquil boots. Yep, plus some goodies on top, so he's very happy. But Faker, that was not entirely necessary. The Nature's Prophet has a lot of armor, so I can see why he'd want to trade there. And I actually thought that he was going to live as well, but not quite. And HFN is in the world of hurt again. Yeah, that's a teleport.
Yeah, Pepita can't stay there. Too hard. And this Enchantress is just such a good laner.
It's absolutely ridiculous. He also functions as a really nice damage dealer mid-game, and you don't really want to focus an Enchantress as the enemy team. Ideally, you have a lineup that can kill her sort of as an afterthought, and at the very least, Infamous has got that covered if they hit the AA Blast. But that's going to be the if of this game, I think. If they hit the AA Blast, Infamous has got a good fight. If they don't, it's going to be rough.
I mean, there's so much pressure because also, what's their initiation coming out from the side of Infamous? You've got a Haunt, you could, I guess, have Faker TP in on the back lines. Maybe the Tiny is... I don't know, I just feel like they don't have the greatest setup here. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Excel.
Yeah. At the very least, though, he's going to have a lot of vision, and there's going to be a lot of just random damage flying around with the Haunt, with the Nature's Prophet ult bouncing through, with people having to walk through the Firestorm, etc. So at the very least, there's going to be a lot of damage done, but if they play it right on the side of Crazy, especially if CR4ZY gets his healing items up, it doesn't necessarily mean that anyone has to die. They're just going to have to juggle all of that damage very carefully.
Rolling again over here on Pakaz. Doesn't quite manage to land the roll, but will land the kick over on the side. He forces out the Fairy Fire. Still has a couple wand charges too, so just being hyper aggressive in this lane. But despite all this hyper aggression, it's still not looking terrible for Pakaz. 37 and 7 CS right now, so
he has been doing very well for himself. We're all very impressed. Of course, he did get a bit of an easier time with Moon Meander rotating out of the lane, but that's a trade that Crazy made very consciously. Alright, we give the Spectre a little bit more, but we also get this rotation onto mid. Moon Meander is pretty well leveled because of that. Another roll.
We've got two things going on. Moon's rolling over here onto Pakaz. They've got the death pulse to slow him down just a little bit here, but does look like it's okay. But in the mid lane, we use the rolling thunder. Faker, he's trying to just stay alive, but he's not going to be able to do it as Michael does manage to come back around. But you've got Owie here. He's just going to force him back.
2 deaths for Faker now. That's rough. And he's going to be suffering from Brawl honing in on him every single time. Nature's Prophet is nothing without the right clicks, and if Brawl gets to proc this game, then the Nature doesn't really get to play.
This is one of Neff's most hated heroes in all of Dota, is the Pangolier in the mid lane. Gets very angry about the fact that you've got the lucky shot. Like that. Because what can you do against it? You can't do anything. Very annoying.
I don't know, you might want to be a mixed damage core instead.
Pepita. They use the Sunder, the roll from Moon, and that's a kill for HFN. Wrath of Nature does get tossed out, but...
Michael? What are you doing here?
You know, Michael things.
He went for a stroll.
I wonder if he's trying to get a toss underneath the tower, but... Top lane looks like they're trying to make some moves over onto KheZy. But they just don't quite have that damage yet. Have the haunt available if they decide to go in, and it looks like Michael will fall. No one's sitting too low in the bottom lane, though. I guess the strategy is to just try to make more space for Pecans, but...
This is very early to start throwing your body.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, too.
I don't think you need to get that desperate yet. I imagine that he was fishing for an opportunity for a toss back, but...
It's too greedy with 3 of them down there and no one else.
It is. Hey, Axel gets a nice little leftover picked up.
Yeah, Brow's gonna be disappointed about that. His bottle's empty right now.
He saved that for a rainy day, and somebody else stole his meager pension funds.
I like the way that they're using the courier too to make sure they can drop wards over here. Keep some vision over here on Faker, who's trying his best to farm up. Is going to be going probably for that Orchid. Definitely not having the best time in the mid lane next to Brile here. And they've had some really good rotations. It's kind of interesting. They didn't actually do any rotations for Faker. Let's roll in top lane over onto Pakaz, and they have the Scythe. And that's a dead Pakaz. Will lose Pepita as, rather, they lose the courier on Pepita. My bad.
Yeah, and these deaths on the Spectre are going to happen throughout the game.
Pepita's pretty tanky here. I think he's actually going to be fine. Toss up, though, from Michael. And comes the Wrath of Nature. Faker making the rotation. Gets the kill on Moon Meander. Owie's still here, but it looks like they're not interested in trying to get the jump on him as well.
I wonder if we're now going to see the unstoppable force in the immovable object, or at least the 2 immovable objects sitting in the bottom lane.
Toss back. Owie taking some decent damage here, only sitting at level 5. And they'll use the haunt, they'll let Pakaz get the kill, and they'll translate this into a bottom tower push. KheZy hiding over the tree line doesn't have the scythe.
There is the answer to my question.
There
Infamous are not going to let this bottom tower just sit here and have a farm fest.
That's very ballsy of KheZy.
He is threatening TPs to come in, and they are actually.
Brile's here. Doesn't quite have enough mana, though, for the Rolling Thunder, although he'll bottle up, turn his attention now over to Pepita. He's gonna go get taken down, and they'll be rolling on through. Michael and Faker just trying to dodge the pinball here for the most part. Ice Blast gonna get tossed in. This could be a big kill here. Brile gets hit with it. That should shatter. Michael will collect the kill. Moon Meander kicking out some of these stunts. KheZy being held over into the tree line because slowly but surely chasing him down. He doesn't have the Ghost Shroud. Now he does. Thanks to those wand charges, Pakaz actually in a lot of trouble here. He needs some help. Michael, though, coming in with the Ava toss. One more hit.
Nice one.
Gets himself a double kill. And Infamous are just outlasting this fight now. See that they're chasing around. Moon Meander rolled up box right here over into Michael. Michael doesn't quite have enough mana just yet, although there it is with the wand charge to toss up the tree and
Another
babies
dagger.
helping out. And Faker gets himself yet another kill.
Outplayed. That is definitely crazy, overestimating their staying power. And excellent play by Pakaz there. He's got that full one saved up, and he's waiting for this fight to do something with it, so he can come back out of those trees with full health. And it looked like Crazy didn't actually communicate well enough that he had that, because they were rather surprised to see the Spectre so healthy again.
It felt kind of like they were hemorrhaging kills. Like it was one of those one by one they started to fall. I think if you're gonna try to, well, I think, who was it? Was it Blitz who like had this whole video that talked about, you know, if you're gonna be trying to defend your bottom tier 1, make sure you have everyone there, because it's just too many points of access otherwise. And in that case, they just didn't have that work. Although Casey finds a kill on Faker, Moon Meander, gets hit with an Ice Blast, but they don't have any extra follow-up damage, so they'll be absolutely fine here.
Faker teleported in, well, this area where the trees used to be, over near the Radiant Tower. And I don't know why he thought he could get away with that, but he was swiftly punished for his sins.
Indeed. A little bit of breathing room down here for Pakaz. He needs to be careful though, because Bryle is hunting him. Doesn't have the Rolling Thunder, but can just be a bully in general. The rest of the team kind of floating around this bottom area, forcing Pakaz out, has to go back to his own side. And HFN's very, very happy using his meta and just hitting creeps in his own triangle. Has that Yasha completed. We'll be going for Assange next.
Yep. And this is a much different game than we saw him play yesterday on, that we saw MNZ, I should say, play yesterday on the Terrorblade, where there was a lot of pressure on him to actually push this game out before the enemy would get online. This is just a Terrorblade who's got a pretty decent late game matchup. He's going to feel fine about doing it.
Oh, they're just a little off the mark.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Fed just a little bit too north for that Ice Blast. We'll be back up in about 27 seconds. The smoke's gonna wear out. There's no vision on them. They're just staying very patiently. Bryle still
Spotted
holding
now.
on. He's almost got the, Ooh, okay, they do spot that out. They do see that he's invis. So they can vacate the premises. They'll run right into Moon Meander. This is the follow-up here. It's not looking good for Excel. He's going to try to get into the Roshan pit. Get a couple of these rolls around, hopping right around the corner. Can Roshan get the kill? Nope. It's going to be Casey who gets the final hit.
Just a support, but it's another... They keep establishing dominance, and they make it very hard for Infamous to get out on the lanes. You may have noticed that Faker is... Oh,
Don't know if you want to go in on this, because the toss back. Oh no, Papita's here. The side
damage
over onto Michael. Pakaz and Papita are just going to walk away. Bryle wanting a little bit more here. Has his eyes over onto Pakaz, but they'll force out that teleport here from Papita, but he actually cancels it. Decides not to Dark Rift out here.
If he Dark Rifts out, they're gonna lose out on so much farm again. It's very rough that they can't fight the side of Crazy right now, but at the same time they have item timings coming up. Faker is got his Orchid flying in right now, and there's also a Yule's upcoming on Papita, and with the added disables from these two, they're going to be able to keep a lot of these heroes from Crazy down while they focus their forces on the front line.
Excel was just trying to go get
Excel.
a D ward here. Does manage to get it, but he will fall. And there's a roll forward again here. They see Papita, they see Michael. But they'll go secure themselves up that bounty rune for Bryle, so he can get a couple of these bottle charges. We'll give a couple over to Moon, too.
Faker stole the one near HFN. That's pretty bold.
Sure, HFN was
Yep.
very surprised.
Thief. And Moonmeander actually leaves this last one here over for Bryle, I think. Oh no, he has a full bottle even. Come on, bottle. Yeah, bottle moon, exactly. There we go.
Big Ice
That's how you
Blast
do it.
over into the mid lane, over onto KZ with the Avatos. And he's not going to be able to heal from this one here. It's a little bit of a slowdown coming up from Owie. They've got the roll in coming forward. They should be able to go clean up on Michael, though they missed the rock, so he's going to split around. Rolling Thunder, though, should be able to clean him up. And another kill goes over to Bryle.
At the very least, the Tiny doesn't lose too much gold from that, which is very important because he's inching closer to that Blink Dagger, and these assassinations with the AA Blast are going to be that much easier once he's got that up. His team really needs that extra added surprise burst damage. I mean, you said it all the way back in the draft. That is their burst damage. It's just the avatars from this boss for Tiny.
Yep.
So I think that Infamous should actually, in some point very, very near, give him access to a couple of good camps or like a good wave that's coming into a tower and back off with the cores. Because he can keep running around like this, but you're risking a very important timing here. Even if it's your +4, at some point you need to prioritize him.
Looks like the next item up for Faker is going to be that BKB, so he can avoid getting scythed or rolled into, or any of the wonderful other spells that they have going on. They use a scan, they know that they're over here. Ryle and Moon Meander, the two rolling rock buddies.
Yep.
Dire's top tower.
Kind of crazy, just a bundle of fun, full of surprises.
I mean, that's what makes it interesting. The roll in, though, over onto Faker, just a little bit too late. They'll get themselves a D ward instead, though. And Pepita feeling very macho here for some reason, deciding to walk into 4. That seems very questionable. Alright, hold them into place. Can they follow up with the Ice Blast? Ice Blast, maybe. We'll be able to land over
Yes,
Kazu, but Michael's already just dissipated here. As now Aoi slowing them down with all the rolls and everything. HFN gets a kill. That felt questionable to me. I don't know.
That was very opportunistic, and it's near this Roshan now. HFN can just walk in and take it. And I gotta say, I like how you use the word dissipate, but for me, dissipate also is a lot more peaceful than what actually happened to Michael.
Well, he definitely ceased to
disintegrated.
exist in any case, because there's just too much
Yes.
being tossed at him. So yeah, this is a very fast roach. There's nothing that they could do with it for the side of Infamous. And they'll let Bry pick up the Aegis, because he is playing very, very aggressive with Moon Meander. I'm looking forward to just seeing, or comparing, you know, depending on who ends up winning this, obviously, since we do have a best of 3 series. But
Bias
I would love to
gas!
I would love to see Bryle just go toe-to-toe with Quinn,
Well,
but there's a toss-up. That's the Aegis. It's
that's the
already
Aegis.
been spent. Michael now walking away. Aoi just chasing after him, but looks like they might decide to back up. No, Moon Meander rolling in. Gets a little bit too greedy here. Wanted that kill onto Tiny. There's going to be Fakaz. He goes. He zooms right back in again. They have a Yule's
Yule's
as well.
cancel.
So it's not looking like Bryle's going to be able to go roll away, especially when you
Orchid.
consider that they have the Orchid. And they'll just chase him down, give him a couple clicks, and Pepita cleans up. Are they going for more? Kaz has his eyes on Kazu. They do have their eyes on Aoi too, but they don't have anything to go and cancel out that TP. So they'll hop on the bus and they'll take a little trip down to the bottom lane.
This is a fast move, and HFN actually has to vacate the premises immediately. That was really nicely done by Infamous, though. And I think, honestly, that if they want to win more fights like that, Excel is going to have to let go of always wanting to hit Kazu with that Ice Blast. I think, in general, the power of not having Kazu heal or Aoi heal his teammates is powerful enough to say, hey, just spread the damage out and make sure that you get whatever kills you can, because you are still 5k behind right now.
And Meander spotting out Excel. The roll on in. Nice sidestep though. Still manages to go and land one of those kicks. They've got the stomp with the Centaur and with the Magnetize. We'll throw out the Ice Blast. Why not? He's going to be dead for a little bit, but that ends that engagement. And Fakaz is forced back as Bryle and Kazu hot on his heels. Looks like they're still going to try to go for it too. The Rolling Thunder. Now Monta goes off, but they'll still follow up. HFN finds the kill on Pepita while all this is going on. I think if they roll around in circles here, in comes Faker. They're trying to punish them with this, and they go and they use the fortification. So this tower is just pushing out quite a bit, plus the Wrath of Nature. But they don't have the rest of their team, so looks like they're just trying to save Pakaz at the end of the day, not try to get these kills.
Well, mission successful at least, and Michael is getting his Blink Dagger on the bottom lane. Finally, while this is happening. Oh no.
Why?
I was just saying, you only need to stay back a little bit more. Your Tiny's gonna have his Blink, and then you can fight after, but... Well, Kaz wouldn't be Kaz if he wasn't testing the limits of what he could get away with.
That's true. HFN finishing up here with that double damage turn, just going to continue to push, and he has working rather towards that Scotty. The BKB is completed though now for Faker, so have to see if that will allow him to stand a little bit more toe-to-toe with everyone. Do get a scan. We've got the smoke. Pepino leading forward. Big chonky dino boy opens up with the Yules, followed up with the Ice Blast, but they have a Force Staff, so it doesn't matter. Moonmander's gonna get silenced. The whole Casey went to place. Got the Ghost Shroud going on. The toss back, though, from Michael. Moon trying to roll away as in goes Bryle. And again, they do have that BKB over onto Faker, and they'll find a kill onto Moonmeander. They're hunting down Kazu now. They need to be able to go slow him down just a little bit more. That Force Staff's gonna be off cooldown in a couple seconds,
Blink.
but Kaz just chasing after him is gonna be able to go and just get himself a double kill.
Very nice. The only problem that I see with this is that even while they're killing crazy heroes, the net worth counter goes up in favor of crazy because HFN is farming. This man is actually... Is he deciding between the butterfly and the
He's got both
Scotty?
components. I guess maybe figuring he'll farm fast with the extra agi.
Yeah, if you have a cool 3k sitting around, why not buy yourself an Eagle Song?
Yeah, you know, casual. It's the season's latest fashion accessory, Kips. All the cores are getting one. You don't want to be that one kid on the playground that doesn't have themselves a casual Eagle Song. Then they're all gonna be like, oh, look at you, baby pockets, can't even afford an Eagle Song.
Yeah, that's
wanna be that
me
kid.
right there. I've always been that kid.
Same. Meanwhile, I'm like, guys, I finally got boots.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Smoke play coming out from Crazy. They see Faker. Trying to plan a little bit though. Faker sidestepping.
Nice
Michael
dodge.
waiting nearby. Does have the blink dagger. BKB is gonna come out from Faker though. As Brow rolls around in circles. As one of these bounces off. Michael needs to be careful though. He's gonna end up getting hit. And we have another fight going on over at the side. Let's go use the magnetize. Get a couple of these stomps off. Michael just can't seem to do anything here, so he is going to fall. What's going on
Kazu.
over here? My goodness. What a split.
Kazu walks over into the side when he notices that all of the cores that can actually handle the engagements are at the right side, and they split up the fight, which allows HFN to then
Faker?
clean up and take. Oh no!
Faker? That's a dead Faker. Okay. I
Faker?
don't know why. I guess maybe he figured that he could get into position, maybe not realizing that Aui's there, but they were all just in the bottom portion of the map. That's a bit of a head scratcher.
Dire's bottom tower.
It is, yeah. Like sometimes you just have this idea as a player that you can't afford to let this tower or whatever go, while the rest of your team thinks know very clearly that there's no way we're defending that, and you end up standing there being like, guys, and like, what? Why are you there? And it just happens, especially in a lineup where you have to coordinate so many abilities at the same time as these guys do.
Well, it looks like HFN decided that he wanted that butterfly, so that's what he opted to pick up. Still working towards that Scotty, but it definitely feels like he's got all the time and space in the world right now. Because
He does.
the rest of the team pretty far behind over on the side of Infamous. So 17k right now over on HFN, 11 on the Spectre, and 11 on the Nature's Prophet. And these, you know, the Spectre, yes, you know, can get fairly large here, but Faker, the opportunities are not as vast.
They're not. He is going back for the Radiance right now on this Spectre, and while I think that I know why he waited longer with this decision, because you don't really want to get a Radiance into a Terrorblade who's going to turn it around on your team. On the other hand, the right-click damage that's going to come in from that TB, the mischance aura of a Radiance is huge. Not just for you, but also for your team. And if you're expecting to get kited a lot, then just having the damage of being alive is such a powerful boon to have as well. So it's... He didn't really want to go for this. He switched his items up a couple of times, but in the end, he feels that this is the only choice that's going to enable him to fight late game. And I can see why. Question is Crazy going to let him get it? This is their last outer tower going down.
I don't think so. We talked about this during the draft, Kips. The fact that Crazy they reach a certain point and then it's just go time. There are no brakes on this train. They're going to be running at you, and the Spectre's a nice idea, but against a team like Crazy that's not going to allow you to have that breathing room. They're going to make this very difficult, if not impossible,
Tower is under attack.
with their aggression.
Are scanning.
Look at
Lost
this.
smoke
They
here.
smoked up. They're hoping maybe someone will show up, try to defend this tower, but no one's showing up.
Nobody's home. They're knocking on the door. Nobody's home.
No one's home. No, maybe.
Literally.
There's a little ice cream cone.
Dire's top tower is under
Oh, he's gonna die. He's so gonna die if he's not careful. Oh, Excel. Roll in from Moon, as to be expected, with the magnetism, the silence, and the impetus. Casey gets a kill. Moon maybe
goes
going
in.
just a little bit too far. He got excited. The kick though over back into that sis. Will be able to go follow up, but it's a good ice blast coming in hot. Are they going to be able to go and land it? It's just a little bit too far out. Doesn't quite manage to land over onto Moon. And they just take these buildings so easily. They've got no fear. In goes HFN. He's got the Scotty. He feels very, very powerful right now. They've got the silence going off over on the side, but it doesn't seem to do a whole heck of a lot. Pepita's just going to get shredded as Brile just goes rolling on through. Look at Faker. That BKB is cute, sweetheart, but it's not going to do much. Michael now, snowballs being thrown at his face. The scythe even for the boot. They don't even need it. Han's going to come out from Pakaz, though. A little bit of a desperation move, maybe trying to get the kill onto Brile.
Radiance
They do manage
is
to finally
online.
take him down, but now Pakaz left all alone. They're just going to turn right back around and get the kill on the Spectre. Plus the silence, Casey is still trying to stay alive, and he is. He's a survivor. And they had a buyback. Now Michael crawling away. They don't have the enchant, luckily, so looks like he's going to be able to get back into his building, or his base rather, but
And HFN actually backs off, even though I'm not sure if they need to quit there. The Spectre is down, they could see that he has a Radiance, most likely no money for a buyback there, and the Hunt's down anyway. It feels like Crazy could end this game right now if they wanted to.
is under attack.
feels like HFN wants to hit creeps just a little bit longer. They do have the next tier of items coming out, so perhaps that's why they decided to back off and just secure themselves a little more advantage. But Jenkins and I always laugh about this because look at HFN's inventory. He's got 3 of these neutral items because he's so greedy. He's like, okay, well, I can use this for now, and then I can switch it off, and then, you know, if I decide I want to have that fairy fire, I can use that. It's just like, poor little Owie's just holding on to that brooch still. He would love to do something else.
The brooch is very nice for a tier 1 item.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, normally the only neutral item where I'm really about, you should keep that in your inventory to switch it out is the leveler. Just because I can see you not wanting it for most of the fights, but once you get to the base, you don't want to have to fly that thing out or have it on a hero where it's inefficient on. Just have your leveler in your back pocket, switch it out once it's time to hit the buildings.
Well, Roche is back up, so you can assume that Crazy will be wanting to make moves there. They're separating a little bit. You've got Pepita, Michael, and Excel sitting on the low ground. And the rolling in over here onto Faker, who's forced to use that BKB, and he's going to try to TP out, but he can't do it in time. There's too much damage coming out from HFN, and they're too split up right now. Try to follow up over on the back lines. They put the damage out over onto Owie, but that's your position 5. You don't really care that much as Michael gets rolled after HFN just kills them. Slaughters them into pieces. Brile rolling on through. This is not looking good for Infamous. Michael eventually falls.
Not...
Metamorphosis.
Because there's so few options to fight this Terrorblade. Anytime he comes close, he's just going to die. The only option is to have hopefully extra damage on top of him, something like the burn from Pepita, and hope that HFN dies to that combined with your dispersion, but that's still literally hoping he kills himself on you.
I mean, they've hit the critical, I wouldn't even say critical mass point on HFN. He's just too big. They don't have the burst. He likes to take these long, drawn-out fights. And again, Pakaz here. All right, they managed to go land the Ice Blast. That's nice, but the Spectre is not looking particularly healthy. HFN finally taken down.
Yep.
Should be a 9x kill streak. They'll get the kill on Moon Meander, too. And there'll be the Haunt going right back in. They want this kill on Keizu. And they do manage to take down 4. So a little bit of a caster's curse, I guess, coming out from me, saying that, you know, it's going to be too hard to take out HFN because a well-timed Ice Blast will be his untimely end, but it's still very difficult.
Yeah, like the big but that you didn't have time for in there was unless he walks down, like, right behind the tier 4s, in which case, he can die.
Yes.
Separated from his team, and he was kind of to demonstrate that.
All right.
Demonstrate that.
Into the Roche pit they go. They don't have any sort of medallion, though. Decent amount of damage.
Yep. Especially out from Pakaz.
Pakaz is still holding onto raindrops. Like, look at the Spectre.
He's been really fond of these raindrops, and I think he's been, in general, very much about optimizing his inventory space. It's interesting because a lot of other younger carry players that I've seen are actually not so mindful of that, and they're more like about, oh well, if I am, you know, farming my items fast enough, that's about it. But he's, yeah, I want a raindrop here, I want a wraith band there. He wants to get as much out of his inventory as possible. And now he gets an Aegis in that inventory, and this is a bit of a worst case scenario for CR4ZY, where they throw an opportunity to end the game and Infamous gets an Aegis on top of it. The real problem comes in when Pakaz gets to finish this Skadi.
Still is very much an uphill battle, you know, it's a 15k net worth lead, but
Oh, yeah.
of course having the Radiance on the Spectre will help, as long as, you know, HFN doesn't turn it right back around on him. But definitely not out of the woods just yet.
No. And basically the Skadi isn't going to allow the Spectre to fight HFN. We're not there yet. But it is going to allow him to fight the rest of the team, and specifically with all the slows, with all the minus heals on, well, still both of these healing heroes, plus opportunities for a lot of AoE damage to come in. That's going to do a whole lot of work, and they can definitely take HFN down once the rest of his team is dead. Or of course if he overextends again, but he's really not going to do that. He learned his lesson.
You hope he's learning.
Please HFN. Don't do this to me.
Alright. Here comes the gank train, with Bryle leading the way. But all of Infamous, they're wise to this. They've hidden inside of their base. They're too afraid to go out because no one is showing in lanes. You know that they don't have the Roche right now because you've already grabbed yourself up that Aegis. So, the woods are dark and creepy. What is the phrase? The night is dark and full of terrors? The night is dark and full of Terrorblade. You don't want to go anywhere near this.
I don't recall that being in the series, but I see a lot of evidence for it being true right now.
It is now. We've made it canon.
It's also said by a Dutch lady, of course.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
No? Well, let's just say that if you want actors to be ready to get naked on camera, you get a couple of Dutch people, because Dutch cinema is full of naked people. I don't know why. I think Dutch people think that's artsy or something, just it's automatically art if you put naked people in your film. But yeah, if you look at,
I'm sure Twitch
Who
chat
have I-
is very glad to find out this information and will be partaking more in Dutch films.
I wouldn't advise it. It's not actual joyful nudity.
Infamous definitely
Can you imagine?
playing scared though. They're holed up inside their base. You've got a lot of gold over here on Pakaz, but he wants to hold on to that buyback. So let's throw out a couple of these scouting ultimates, maybe try to push out a bit, opens the triangle, trying to figure out what does HFN have, and he's pretty loaded.
He sure is. That's a Hurricane Pike now as well, just in case he gets caught somewhere, in case the Spectre actually gets on top of him. It's going to be very annoying for the Spec if she still decides to go on Abyssal Blade. I think that should be next on the menu. Just, yes, I wailed on this guy for a while, and now he's taken his distance.
Ooh, this is ballsy. Looks like they're going to try to sweep them out of their jungle though, and everybody's hanging out over by the triangle, so they can get up some vision. And maybe try to gain something back here. Look at the scout. Got the haunt available on Spectre. You can go and just teleport in if you need to with Faker. They do manage to find Bryle. Oh, Excel says, oh no!
Excel
Oh, I was not ready
face-checking
for
it,
this.
though.
I did not expect to see this, but there's going to be the haunt coming in. So they'll go, they'll make moves over here onto Excel. They'll be able to take him down, but over on the back line, Moon Meander also to fall. This Rolling Thunder coming out from Bronze doesn't connect up too many, but the Scythe will go through. They'll be able to get the kill onto Michael. Because now trying to just get away. Oh, the Bash coming out from Bryle. Managed to sidestep though, and there's that Aether Lens. As they just hunt down the Spectre. She's coming right back up again because that was the Aegis. But I'm not sure it's going to be enough. Look at this Pepita. He's like, come to me, crawl to me.
He's
Let's
got
get
the
out of here,
cheese.
get in the bus. And they leave Faker behind. I think he should be able to TP out though.
If Bryle gets another bash there,
That could have been the end of the game. Although they do have the buyback for several of these
They
guys.
do. Pakaz got stuck in a very unlucky corner there, and
Well,
actually he's
Pepita?
got to be very careful right now.
Peter has the spider legs. They've got the Yules. Just gonna rise yourself a little bit more time here.
And at the very least, this was a metamorphosis used outside of the base, so HFN now has to make the decision if he wants to wait for the next one or not. I do think that he's big enough that he can fight on foot, especially because his opponent should be mostly buildings. Oh no, Faker.
Oh, Ice Blast coming in hot though. Doesn't quite manage to land over on the side. Faker forced to use his BKB, and he's got a TP back. That's how scared he is. He can't even walk. He knows that if he tries to walk, he's most likely still going to die. So he had to go and just BKB TP away. Whew.
Scared but alive.
Scared but alive. It's gonna be a sheep stick coming out soon for Faker, which I think they just need more lockdowns. But even with the lockdown, do they have the damage, I guess is the next question, because HFN's just dishing it out by the bowlful.
Yep, the real problem that I see for them is that they just haven't been able to get crazy in a group situation with a big ice blast. And it feels like they just have been face-checking with Excel too much. As if maybe Papita doesn't want to be the one in the front lines. There must be some reason why they are not getting the opportunities for these fights, because if they could get just one good ice blast off, they can get a really good fight out of that. Especially because HFN doesn't have a BKB either. This man can still totally die to all of the magic damage.
HFN has a BKB. He just got it.
Oh, well, never mind.
Literally, actually just picked it up and it was sitting in his backpack. But yeah, this game
In
gets
that case,
a lot harder.
Never mind. He can go do whatever he wants. Like, actually, he should probably just take the bot racks with this. I don't see how to stop him. Kaz bought a late blade mail. That is how serious this situation is.
That is. I don't think it's
Once
gonna
again-
do that much, honestly.
But optimization of the slots. He
True.
wanted to buy something for this fight, and he had a slot where the Aegis was left. Or has left him, I should say.
Kaz? Bryle finds Faker during all this. Guess he was trying to go and cut the wave, and they got smart to him. They do buy back, though, on the Nature's Prophet. But just look at this damage HFN can do. Sitting on the low ground here, KZ throwing his body up forward, daring them to come anywhere near them. Got the heals coming out, too. Go, hold him into place, though. Doesn't
Is it
get
for
out with the
high
roll
ground now?
forward, though. Buyback coming out now from Faker. BKB coming out from HFN as he just shreds Excel over on the back lines. Gets the sender up over onto Papita. He says, that's very nice of you to propose your body over to me. And now backing off a little bit, but they do have the rolling thunder.
is out.
They go right back in. They have the scythe. Michael gonna be taken down next. But Cosmo's still here alive and kicking. And you know, the blade mail actually doing a decent amount of damage because Moonmeander trying to run away. He is gonna get clicked down by Faker. KZ having to get force stabbed up over to the top. Does manage to have that magic lantern, but it's not gonna be enough because he's gonna burn. And now Aoi running away. Dagger's gonna get tossed out here by Pakaz, but it doesn't look like they're gonna be able to grab him. Michael considering it, but the blink on cooldown. Papita has to be careful. There's 3 over here.
Going back in.
The roll. They don't quite manage to land, but they do
Oh,
get the
the
bash
bash.
up over onto Papita. This is not looking good. He's not taking enough to survive this, as he is going to get bashed up. And he's not going anywhere. Thistle Blade
This
on
is-
Ryle.
Oh
Making sure of
boy.
it.
But Basher on the Spectre now. Kaz is just buying out. He knows that if he loses this fight, it's over.
Yep. They don't have Papita for another 90. AA is going to be back up soon, but
Maybe HFN? No, he's got another metamorphosis in 30 seconds. He's not going to give them the time. You shouldn't give them the time.
no buyback on anyone but HFN at this point.
A little something extra for the effort.
Instead of Infamous simply can't afford to keep buybacks, they won't have the damage for
Oh, this is feeling
any
like
of this.
Kaz might die if he's not careful. To see Aoi, but Moonmeander's nearby. So is Bryle. I don't know about this. Rolling
Go back, go
Thunder,
back.
considering it, will immediately turn back around. There's the blade mail, but the roll forward coming out from Moonmeander. Michael's getting silenced up as well. It's like they might try to back off. Ice Blast is going to get tossed out, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't land on anybody. It's not going to do any damn good because Michael, next to fall, Faker teleporting in, but the rest of his team has already run away. He has to hope that they don't feel like chasing him right now. And they don't. You know why, Kips? Because Roche is up, and they know it.
Easy as Roshan. If they're alive, they get their entrance kill too. These are the moments where I'm like, because the only reason you're getting away with this is because your teammates are prepared to die for you.
Oh
But
my
you're
god.
making them die for you.
Why? Why? Excel's courier had his ags on it.
His entire bloody
His entire ags.
Where was it? Was it in the...
By the Roche pit.
It was in the rush? Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, Dios mío.
Oh god.
This is
I mean,
looking very... Like, it was already
if I'm
looking
him,
incredible.
if
for
I'm him, I'm
Crazy,
just
but-
saying, why couldn't anyone else use their bloody courier
I know.
there? Why did it have to be mine?
Why did it have to be his that has the entire ag
Why do-
scepter on it?
Why do none of you ever use your couriers right?
Alright, well, Chef Ben just walks right on up there. They've got the solar crest on him too. He's got an Aegis. They do a
Lot of
decent
damage.
chunk of damage, but he's not afraid. He gets the Thunder up over here onto Faker. There's out a couple of these hits, but Bakaz left behind, plus the Scythe. He's just dead. He's dead,
Just
no
like that.
buyback. HFN does manage to get tossed
Might
in here.
pop.
So they'll pop it, but Michael just kind of sitting right over here is going to get kicked back by Moon Meander. And he comes right back up again. Moon, though, is dead. Michael next to fall. But the bigger problem is just HFN. He does so much damage. You have no one who's going to be able to go and protect these buildings. How do you deal with this? Pepita just trying to be a meat shield, throwing his body at him, and it's going to get slowed down. Look at this damage coming out from Aoi. They'll try to use the Glimmer Cape, buy him a bit more time, but HFN focused on the buildings as the rest of his team diving in. They have the Abyssal Blade, that's going to be a dead Pepita. Bryle is just so damn aggressive right now. Does manage to go get hit by that blast and the Orchid, but he's just a body. They're just using him as an annoyance, a distraction, because HFN is hitting the buildings.
And
They
it's
have no
definitely
Spectre
over
for
now.
80-something seconds. They have no Underlord for 70. This is looking like it's gonna be game, Kips.
It is good. The entrance just not dead.
Last
Dead.
hurrah? He tries. He puts the... He's trying. He built himself a little tree house over here, but it's only
Very
gonna
cute.
last for so long. I'm sorry, Baker. Your
I'm
tree
sure
house
HFN
dreams
is-
are dead. And look, just pops the BKB. Okay, just for funsies. Knows that the Ice Blast is coming in. Rolling Thunder on through here from Bryle, and that's it. That's the end of game number one.
Convincing by Crazy. Though, of course, it feels like they have this tendency to overextend one fight per game, if you know what I'm saying. Like, they need that little push back, like, oh yeah, by the way, you still gotta keep focused. This one is not in the bag yet.
Yes, I would say that for sure. I think they drafted themselves a little bit into a corner here on the side of Infamous. I think they picked up the Nature's Prophet perhaps just a little bit too early before realizing what they were going to pick for HFN. And then the Spectre, I like Spectre, but I think it was just too slow. It was too slow for this game. And I'll mention this again. Crazy plays so damn aggressive. It's what makes them so good, is that they hit that timing and then they just go. They never stop. They'll keep running at you. Bryle and Moon Meander, these two guys are insane. Like, we joke around about, that clip of Jenkins saying Pakaz and his pubs just pinging, nonstop, like, kill him, let's kill him.
Yeah.
But I imagine the same thing is going on with Moon Meander and Bryle, where they're like, there's someone in the bottom lane. Let's go. Let's kill him right now. Teleport in, done, every single time. So
You can usually see it by the intensity of the pings. I do think they're a little bit more chill about it, but I think this is a team that can definitely get very excited in the comms once they get going, which is probably what leads to those overextensions.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying they're like screaming, but I can imagine just like a quiet, just this is it, let's go. He's alone now.
Yeah.
They just
Oh.
see these opportunities and they take
This
them.
man's dead.
Yes,
Why is he still alive?
exactly.
Make him not.
But again, just really nice plays coming out from Crazy. I love the way that they've been just making sure that their laning goes fairly well, and then once they hit that one or two items that they need, they're just everywhere. They make so much space for HFN to get what he needs to then later carry the game. Because you saw at the very end, it was the HFN show. He's the one dishing out all the damage. Bryle did a great job too, and you had some really nice sides coming out from Keizu. But, it is really just he reaches that critical mass point and they're just like, oh no, we can't do anything about this.
Yep. And in regards to Pakaz maybe feeling too slow, he did not go for a farm amplification item this game. No Midas, which we see a lot in EU. Eventually the Radiance, but at a way too late point to actually make a difference in his farm throughout the game. And I think that if they want to stand a better chance there, he has to trust more that his team is going to make the space for him, as opposed to saying, okay, I need this Manta style, otherwise I'm going to die. But on the other side, yeah, maybe his team also needs to reinforce more, like, dude, we need you in the jungle, not in the fight. So let's see if they can balance that out better in the next game.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a good point. I would also like to see them buffing him a little bit more, right? We saw some of the buffs coming out from the side of CR4ZY. Even just, the solar crest pickup and being able to put that on your core is such a benefit. But again, this is a best of 3 series. It's the lower bracket finals. So, you've got to pull out all the stops. And I will say that Infamous played a little bit more Infamous style in this particular matchup. So let's see if they can get a little bit more comfortable, or if CR4ZY is just that good, if they're just going to sweep through here and just run on into that grand finals with Quincy crew. But we'll be back after a short break.